Mike Shoesmith is with us this afternoon. Mike is the executive editor of the ppsimmons News and Ministry Network. I don't know, my goodness, many tens of thousands of subscribers to that network through all of its properties, viewers of our videos of well over 40 to 50 million views so far. Absolutely amazing. And Mike, it's also my understanding that you guys that work there just continually ministering to people, leading people to the Lord, leading people out of various lifestyles and areas of degradation. They write and they ask for help at ppsimmons@live.com, and it's just an amazing what's the word I'm looking for? It's this dynamic news site as well as a hands-on ministry site, right?
Well, you know, with all of the decapitating going on out there, and all of the atheists reaching out and trying to remove God from every aspect of society, Jesus is reaching the hearts and minds of the lost out there and making an impact in the end of the age here, you might want to call it. Yeah. I'm really hearing myself here, Carl. I'm having a hard time making it work here.
Well, listen, would you like to hang up and call back? Because you sound fine. I mean, you're a little loud, but we're not hearing you twice. But I know sometimes you're probably calling from a cell phone on the other side of the country, and sometimes that happens. Why don't you just hang up very quickly and call back, okay?
Will do.
Okay, all right, good deal. Well, folks, we're going to wait just a second as Mike does that, and I think I hear him calling back right now, as a matter of fact. But anyway, I don't know if in fact, I think he's going to talk about the new iPhone 6. What he needs to do is get him the iPhone 6, and then he won't have all that problem. At least that's what I'm hearing. But I know exactly what he's talking about. And those of you that use cell phones a lot, you've probably had the very same thing happen before, where you call up to talk to somebody and you hear yourself about 3 times. I've actually done interviews like that and had that happen to me, and it is so aggravating. Mike, are you back? Do you hear yourself better now?
Hey, Carl, did you get your iPhone 6 pre-ordered yet there?
No, we were just talking about that. I said, if you had an iPhone 6, you wouldn't have those problems you're having. No. I use an Android system. I've never been a real big fan of iPhones myself.
Yeah, I do too, but, all the rage now with the iPhone 6 coming out. A big announcement this week with the iPhone 6, And you're going to need one, Carl. I mean, after all, mankind is undergoing a major evolutionary transition, I'm sure. Maybe you're not aware of that. I don't know.
No, I saw that article. Unbelievable. Tell our folks about that.
Well, it's true. Business Insider is reporting that mankind is undergoing a major evolutionary transition comparable to the shift from simians to monkeys to apes, and apes to humans, Carl, according to Cadell Last, a doctoral student in evolutionary anthropology and researcher at the Global Brain Institute, Carl. Human life expectancy has already increased from about 45 at the start of the 20th century to 80 today because of advancements in technology. I could also add that that in my mind that has to do more with advancements in creation science,
right?
Which they're saying that there's advancements in technology, Carl. Now this is huge news, by the way. The advancements in technology will affect natural selection.
Yeah.
This person suggests that life expectancy could reach 120 as early as 2050. A concept known as radical life extension. In addition to longer lives, humans will likely delay the timing of biological reproduction and reduce the number of offspring too, yada, yada, yada. So they're making a connection here, Carl, between advancements in technology, like the iPhone 6, which we'll get to in a second, and natural selection. So hooking wires to ourselves and hooking ourselves up with the technological advancements, and I said earlier that it has more to do with creation science with respect to advancement in technology, because let's face it, the iPhone 6, and I just bought a new Android system phone here myself, which is absolutely amazing technology. That is all creation science. And if you were to take, the new cars, I recently bought a new car, and it's an amazing piece of technology. That is creation science at its finest. That is what the Bible calls witty inventions.
Well, it's a demonstration of intelligent design.
Thank you. Yes. And this intelligent design, the creation science, and all this stuff, the stuff that we tout every day on PP Simmons, is all on full display here with car technology, cell phone technology, and if you were to take, like, let's say you were to produce a car through natural selection, through atheistic evolution,
right.
you would have to point a camera at a junkyard that has all the components of a car in it, and just watch for a tornado to go through there. Just make sure you have a really long battery life on your phone, on your camera, because the amount of time it's going to take for you to actually see a car come out of a junkyard as a result of natural selection would be an eternity. Well, you'll have to have an eternity life battery on your camera. Even that won't be long enough.
Well, not only that. I mean, that's a perfect illustration. But not only that. But think of all the pieces, parts in this junkyard. Where did the parts come from? I mean, a transmission alone is a carburetor system alone is a work of art. The electronic system alone is a work of design and art. So if they're just laying around waiting for a tornado to come along and assemble them, and I've used that illustration for years, and from time to time I'll run into an unsuspecting, ignorant evolutionist who thinks they're going to burn me down with the next question or the next statement. They'll say, yeah, but you're talking about inanimate objects. You're talking about things that are made. You're talking about mechanical things. We're talking about life. And I always stop and say, thank you for making that distinction, because even though we can create a space shuttle that can go into outer space, we cannot manufacture a bumblebee. We don't know how to make a gnat. We don't know how to make a grass seed. I mean, because all of those things contain life. So if a junkyard cannot assemble an automobile when a tornado goes through it, how in the world can a magical sludge pond of chemical soup accidentally create 30 million species of life and all of their systems and subsystems? It's utterly, statistically, utterly impossible.
Well, and this person who's writing this so-called science article is what they call a futurist. Yeah. And futurism is pseudoscience. These people are not scientists, and they actually have a dismal record. But they are promoting this idea that listen, we've given up on proving evolution, so we're just going to go ahead and make the proclamation that there's an evolutionary elite coming. But listen, I really believe hooking this up with Bible prophecy, and I really believe that these people are simply preparing the way for a mass acceptance of this technology, which everyone will be forced to take and have applied to themselves as a tracking mechanism, because everybody will be forced to be tracked following the rapture of the church in Revelation 11. The mark of the beast technology is introduced in Revelation 13 following the rapture of the church, and all these people are disappearing, and they're like, well, we got to keep tracking everybody now. How are we going to do this? Well, we've got the technology now to make that happen with the iPhone 6s. Actually, the iPhone 6 could be said to be a major evolutionary leap toward the mark of the beast. Because here we have this article here.
Well, let me just say, before you go on with the article, let me also interject that technology could be used even before the rapture of the church, because it doesn't have to be after the rapture of the church, although you made a strong case for the fact that may be why they would use it, but it could also be used before with this whole thing of terrorism and who are the terrorists and where are the terrorists and you got to track everybody. You got to know who's who, and you got to know where they are, and a lot of people are going to refuse to do so.
Well, that's very true, and the stage is being set for people to accept this technology en masse. I mean, everybody, right?
Yes.
And so here we have this story. I want to get to this before the break because we're going to shift gears a bit after the break. But here's this guy, and his name is Ben Slater. And this guy can open his front door, turn on the lights of his house, and will soon be able to start his car without even a touch. He can link to a database containing limitless information, including personal details such as names, addresses, and health records. This guy had a microchip implanted into his hand, Carl, in the anticipation of the release of the iPhone 6.
Wow.
And this guy did this because he believes that the iPhone 6 will be able to interact with his body and track him and do all of his banking. He won't ever have to swipe a card. He won't ever have to log into anything because all of his information will be in that chip. And he had this done to himself.
Right.
And this guy, now, am I saying this is the mark of the beast? I'm saying this is the technology for it.
Right.
the Christian groups have come out now and said, look, this is getting awfully close to the technology that will take for Revelation 13 to come to pass. The technology is here. We've already talked about this before.
Oh, yeah.
Brandon has spoken about this extensively on the show. But listen, now we actually have people using the technology required to track every man, woman, and child on the face of the earth. We have it being sold as a bill of goods to the world as the next evolutionary leap. You know, Business Insider is not some third-rate magazine.
No,
that's a mainstream rag, and they are promoting this as the next evolutionary leap.
Right.
The connection between humanity and technology will be what causes humanity to make this leap into the next phase of evolution.
Right,
and now we have this guy openly and taking this and connecting it with the release of the iPhone 6. I just think, folks, it really is time to take a fresh look at this whole scenario.
Well, it really is, and one of the fallacies of this statement made in that Business Insider, Business Weekly Insider, whatever it's called, in that article, they were talking about how the fact that people are living now to be 80 and 90 years old is proof. That's proof of man's evolution. Well, I can take you back to Psalm 90, which was written 3,000 years ago, that says the length of man's days will be 80 to 90 years.
Right.
All the way back 3,000 years. Now, this article says, well, a couple hundred years ago, man's expectation was only 40 years of age. Well, yeah, on the pioneer days and in the Western frontier and in third world countries, yeah. But even in the days of David, 3,000 years ago, on the other side of the world, people were living to be 80, 90, and 100 years of age. So that's just absolute junk science.
Well, thank you. And then we go back as far as the Noah event, where God said to Noah, listen, following this event, the days of man will only be as much as 120.
At the most, yeah.
At the most, that's right. So here we have now the thing that fascinated me most about the evolution article, going to making the lead from this to that to this to that. There's actually no evidence that people ever were anything other than people.
Nope.
And people becoming people is not evidence that fish became men.
That's right. Thank you. And as a matter of fact, the most recent DNA, RNA discoveries and understanding and advancements, and the most recent scientific discoveries shows that with all the information we have thus far on DNA and RNA, men have always been men, monkeys have always been monkeys,
right.
And never did the twain meet. Never.
No, and this is a dramatic leap in pseudoscience and really fairy tale science. This is not science at all.
Absolutely. Well, listen, let's take a